Welcome to the Bella Shasha podcast, where we dive deep into the heart of human experience. I am your host, Manush Kalamani. On Sunday afternoon, we share intimate, life-changing stories that inspire, connect, and transform. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and join us on this adventure of vulnerability and strength.
Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30064, next door to Publix Supermarket. Or call us at 770-875-8889. Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic. test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30064, next door to Publix Supermarket. Or call us at 770-875-8889. Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30064, next door to Publix Supermarket. Or call us at 770-875-8889. Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road.
Yes, hello. Welcome to the Bella Shasha podcast. Today is May the 4th. So today we are here to first let's talk about what is Bella Shasha podcast. So for those who are watching this for the first time, Bella Shasha podcast is a safe place where people with unique stories come here and get to tell their own truth right here on the Bella Shasha podcast. And many of us have unique stories of triumph. But however, we are too afraid to tell it because we are concerned about we're not ready. We're not ready for many reasons. One of the reasons may be because we are afraid of judgment. We're not ready to tell our truth. And so I've had a few guests who took on the challenge to tell their stories because on this podcast, we understand that the value and how the human potential is so powerful. So we understand that as human beings, we have the ability to come through and overcome obstacles and life challenges. And so therefore, we create this platform, this podcast, as a safe place where anyone who has a unique stories can tell their truth. So we understand that we in May, and this is May 4th. And so it begins the conversation about mental health, mental hygiene, self-care. And so we are taking this opportunity to tell a story. This time I don't have a guest on. As you can see, there's no guest. So, and today I get to tell the story, a personal journey that includes a loved one. But before I do that, I would like to quote and cite a few statistics from the NIH, which is National Institute of Health. So we understand that 59.3 million in 2022 have experienced some sort of mental health disorder. That translates to 23.1% of adults in America. And it's various type of disorders. So we're going to start with anxiety, which is, we find that 39.1 percent during a lifetime. But if just for 2022, we would say 19.1%. But during lifetime, we find that 31%. And in the aspects of ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So it's 7.8% were found to have experienced those who were given a diagnosis of ADHD. And for ASD, which stand for autism, autism's central disorder. So we find that 1 in 36 children, 1 out of 36 have experienced those symptoms and had a diagnosis of this. So, and we do find that it occurs. We find more boys diagnosed with ASD than female. And in case of bipolar disorder, so 2.8% of Americans were found to have a diagnosis of bipolar disorder. For eating disorder, so that includes binging, eating, so 1.2. And we find that out of that 1.2, in lifetime 28, we find that it's greater than women. So women tend to have a little bit, find to have more eating disorder than men. Depression. So we find that 21 million of people who lived in America has some sort of diagnosis of depression. So for percentage, it's translated as 8.3%, which is another one is obsession compulsive disorder. So we have obsession, which is OCD. So sometimes people joke and says, "Oh, I am so OCD." So if you just the one giving yourself this diagnosis, but there are ways to find out if people are OCD. What they find out, 1.2% of the U.S. population do have a diagnosis of OCD. Personality disorders. I always find that very interesting. When I was collecting the statistical data, I found that personality disorder ranked the highest in mental health. So second to it is depression. So personality disorders ranked 9.1%. And for borderline disorder, it's 1.4. For PTSD, so that's when you suffer post-traumatic, right? So for post-traumatic stress disorder, it's 3.6. So that includes, like, whether if it's a rape victim, whether some kind of trauma, let's say if you had a bad accident, or your vet who have experienced and witnessed trauma. So for a lifetime, it's 6.8. For schizophrenia, it's 0.25% to 0.64%. And for international stat for schizophrenia, it's a little bit slightly higher. It's 0.33 to 0.75. And lastly, for suicide, so they find that during that period of time, so 49,476 people decided to end their life. So it's usually where you find mostly men tend to complete the attempt than women. Men tend to take the most aggressive way of ending their life. So what can we say? We can say that with all this data and information, that mental health has, as we can say, it's 59.3 million people have some degree of mental illness, some condition to it. So it's something that 59 million of people that would require some sort of care. And so it is very important. It's something very personal to me. And the reason I'm saying it is something that is very personal to me, because I will start with personal experience, because when I said PTSD and so I will take on the approach of childhood trauma. So when you have any changes that disrupts somebody's life, such as death of a parent or divorce, that can elicit trauma, right? And with this trauma, a lot of times when it's left unaddressed, so it can create other symptoms. So I'm saying that just to say that I have uncovered this for myself. For myself, because I was 2 years old when I was told, I don't remember anything, that my father passed away when I was 2. So that's a disruption in a family dynamics, right? You have one parent either gone from whatever or divorced. There's another disruption in families. And so that's all you get to hear. You get to hear your father left the house and never to return after a tragic car accident. So I think just by telling the stories, I think most adults don't understand the traumatic effects that it can have on a child who never understood and had a relationship with their family. Because I think even my uncle, when I talk about my brother, I will share that conversation I had with him when before he passed away, many months before he passed away. So I didn't realize the depth of this trauma until after I personally become a spouse. And that was predated cell phone, where you can contact your loved one. And I remember when I start reflecting and looking back, when my husband will either travel, or if there's something that sets, I guess what I call trigger me off, to says, okay, I have no control of what's going on with him or any loved one. So I start getting into my head, that I start thinking of all kind of bad incident that can occur, and this person is not coming home. And then I realized that I keep on playing that same rerun many times when I don't know what's going on with a loved one. And it caught my attention. And I asked myself that question: why do you allow yourself to start going in this rabbit hole, to start making stories that you don't even can confirm? So, and I even put myself in check and says, this is not normal behavior. This is not how you respond to something that you don't have full information. So when I started looking into it, and I'm like, why do you respond that way? Why do you respond that way to the unknown? And it was almost like some kind of anxiety. So when I started unpacking that response, then I started going into the rabbit hole. And I said to myself, you know what? Go back from the beginning. Then I realized from the beginning that I suffered a loss. My father passed away, and all the story I've heard that he never came back home. So, and I think in my subconscious, I kept that story. And so when I couldn't understand what was going on, so the first thing that comes to mind is, oh my God, this is happening. This is happening, where then I start telling myself stories. Then once I realized that the tie was from this childhood trauma that was never addressed, to say, hey, this child, which is not part of our culture, to understand that in the late 70s, maybe mid 70s, that when a child suffers a loss, that there's a part of healing that needed to be done. So I had to figure it out myself that I had childhood trauma, and that's why I'm having all those triggers. So once that I identified what the issue was, so I began to tell myself this is not normal behaviors. I mean, in the sense that, I mean, it is novel because it was not resolved or addressed. So, but once I identify it, so I was able to say, hey, let's deal with this. And now, I don't, I don't, I don't get triggered like that, I should say. And that's one way I can bring the idea of trauma, childhood trauma. And so that's why I'm so interested in early trauma and ongoing traumas. So that's one. And then I have my one of my brothers. So he was the person the most caring, I can say. When I looked at all the siblings, he's the most caring one. He's the one who always care about everybody. He is the one probably at by the time we get to America, and he would always be concerned about everybody like a little man early in life. So sometimes you wonder when people take on certain roles without not being ready, and always with the risks of certain individual may have, because we have to understand not everybody have the same capacity. So one person may handle a trauma better than the next, and we don't know who can handle trauma this way, and then the other person will handle it the other way. Just like I've always used this story with the alcoholic dad, where two siblings, both of them have the same alcoholic dad. One chose to abuse alcohol, and the other one did not. And when you ask both the same question separately, and they both answer because my dad was an alcoholic, it's just to say truth to when someone has someone experienced life and traumas and stress. So they all gonna deal with it differently. You take 10 people with the same exposure and stress, and you're gonna have 10 different responses. So the response are not gonna be the same. Same for my brother. So my brother was 4 when my father passed away. One wasn't even born, so the youngest one was not even born. So he was what they call in utero. And even poor, I guess, mother. I don't know. I guess for Haitian women, they internalize a lot of their trauma and shock. So she's not one to talk about her experiences. So yes. So for my brother, he was that person who's always trying to care for all the siblings. So I remember when I was I was maybe 16, and I was a bridesmaid, and my mother was a single mom. She was no college graduate. So she was a single mom, trying to make it in America, and she was not in any government assistance program either. So she worked her way to take care of her 4 children. So in taking care of her 4 children, so sometimes if you don't have a thriving business, you just working as a home health aide with limited income. So my brother, he always had his job, maybe from age 15. So I remember I was not working, could never get a job because I have too many restrictions to what I can do and not. So the McDonald's, they were like, we're not hiring you. for him, he got hired, so I don't know. And he took me to one of the McDonald's he was employed. So, and I've completed the application, but I've had so many restrictions, so they never called me. So go figured. So maybe I was glad it didn't happen that way. So I've only worked in one field, and that's healthcare. And now doing something to life coaching, human empowerment, and also that's a different topic. So we're gonna stay in task. So for my brother, so he was the person I know. If I said, "Hey, bro, can you give me this?" He will give his last penny to me. So I remember I was a bridesmaid, and so I needed to get a white pair of shoes. So I went to him and I'm like, "Hey, I need to get a pair of shoes." And he's like, "How much is it gonna cost?" That was like, and we're in the 80s now. So I said like $50. So he wasn't making much. So he just with no restraint, he pulled that $50 and gave it to me. So I always remember my brother as that person who would pull his last bill and give to his siblings. So that's the kind of brother that he was. But however, in the process of evolving in America and having to deal with, I think, with a lot, and he's not as outspoken as I am. From the time I was a child, I was very outspoken. I spoke my mind, but my brother was not. So, but by the time he began to his early 20s, so we've noticed certain changes. And for me, I was in college then, and so when then my mother told me that there's certain things that I'm seeing. At that point, I was not even living at home. I'm seeing in him, and so I just want you to be aware of that. So because he has a very close relationship with my mother and trusts almost everything she says. So she convinced him to could come to the hospital, and he was evaluated. So at that time, then he was fine to experiencing some mental health, and very early in his 20s. And so, and one thing I must say with mental health disorders, so the key to it, and I'm gonna bring the next person I bring here on May the 25th, will astonish you, because the key to mental health, it's whoever experienced mental health, is to have great insight of the condition. Most people who do not do fairly well with mental health, it's because there's a lack of insight. Because when you have no insight into what's going on with you, so you tend to not wanting to accept treatment. You tend not to want to accept whether if it's medical treatment with medication or therapy, if it's therapy to help you coach you through life. So for me, I find that those who suffer or experience schizophrenia tends to have the hardest prognosis, the harshest prognosis into life in terms of productivity in life, involvement in societal achievement and all. Mental health doesn't affect your IQ, because if you can remember the movie of A Beautiful Mind, and it's based on a true story of somebody who's a Nobel Prize winner mathematician. So he's a mathematician who experienced some sort of mental health disorder. And because through even his illness, he was able to create mathematics formulas and was well honored for his genius, and still has mental health condition. So he was honored as someone who was a high academic achievement to that level. But however, he had mental health disorder. He had a mental health disorder. So they depict his story through this movie called A Beautiful Mind. So if you have not watched that movie, you can watch this movie and understand that it is such a very telling story what mental health is. For one condition, it's not for all, because each one of those conditions have their own symptoms. How they present, some of the symptoms may overlap, because some of the people with bipolar, it's two poles. So you have depression and mania, and you have major depressions. You have depression. Some people with schizophrenia, they do have isolation. Some of them have some depression. Some people with ASD. Some of them have depression as well. They can have some psychotic episodes. So there are some commonalities in symptoms, but however, that they are very specific as well, where you will be able to identify which mental health condition that person may be experiencing. So in a sense, for my brother, because he hasn't have great insight, so he struggled a lot through his 20s. So he struggled quite a bit, and to the point that he struggled when I left New York. There was no one to kind of supervise what's going on with him. He ended up being homeless, and there's one of those ministry that I've nonprofit I've created in probably 2014, I believe. I created this nonprofit called Marching for Humanities in the honor of the experience of my brother, to understand that many who are on the street have some mental health condition, whether if it's from drug addiction or strictly mental health. And many who have mental health condition nurse their mental illness by doing drug as well. So we're gonna take a pause, and we will be right back.
Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30064, next door to Publix Supermarket. Or call us at 770-875-8889. Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30064, next door to Publix Supermarket. Or call us at 770-875-8889. Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30064, next door to Publix Supermarket. Or call us at 770-875-8889. Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30064, next door to Publix Supermarket. Or call us at 770-875-8889. Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. we provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30064, next door to Publix Supermarket. Or call us at 770-875-8889. Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30064, next door to Publix Supermarket. Or call us at 770-875-8889. Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30064, next door to Publix Supermarket. Or call us at 770-875-8889. Are you experiencing sneezing, itchy eyes, constant allergies? At Clinic, we test most common allergies. We provide personalized treatment plans for adults. Don't let allergies hold you back. We've got you covered. Come visit us at 1750 Powder Springs Road, Southwest, Suite number 510, Marietta, Georgia 30.
Welcome to the Bella Shasha podcast.
No, I have to kind of see. Okay, so so you can do that. You can take me off then.
We share intimate,
I'm ready.
Changing stories that inspire, connect, and transform. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and join us on this adventure of vulnerability and strength. Welcome to the Bella Shasha podcast.
So
where
I
we
guess I
dive
can
deep
say
into
hello
the
to
heart of
everybody. So thank you for. Oh, I'm not on. So I can say hello to Dr. Yvonne Jean, Dr. Lucita Somerville, Pastor Romel Edmond. So far, thank you for all those who are listening to the story. It's a personal story. As I return, we are back from a break, and now we are back on Bella Shasha podcast. And I was telling the story, personal story of my brother. First, I gave a synap of my own personal story about childhood trauma and how that, if left unaddressed, can seed other experiences like anxiety, if left unaddressed. And now I travel to my brother's story, and I talked about how he was diagnosed with mental health early in his early 20s. And because, and I've mentioned about having poor insight to any condition that can create concerns and prognosis, where your prognosis can be very poor. And I've seen it not only through my brothers. I spent many years working in healthcare, to the point that a lot of people felt that, oh my God, you are so comfortable taking care of patient either with or experiencing mental health conditions. So I guess they didn't know I was an expert by default because at some point when my brother couldn't care for himself in New York and ended up resulting being homeless. So his social worker, who caseworker who was helping him reach out to me and says, "Hey, I'm trying to see if your brother will be able to come and accept assistance." That was one of his things. So I won't even say it's ego. My brother, he's a worker, so he likes to work. So he always in his mind, I have to start working and stuff. So because his reality was not completely there, because he was not in any frame of mind to work. But he was insistent that he has to work to take care of himself, though he was at that time homeless. And I said to you guys in 2014, because of that experience and understanding that many who are homeless, including a college friend I had who was also homeless, and I believe that she had passed and was did experience mental health condition and became homeless. So you do find a great percentage of those who are homeless with mental health condition, and others could be from mental health still, because addiction is a form of mental health is condition as well. So, and you find that some have addiction problem as well, and other social issues. But you find out a great bit of people who are homeless suffer from mental health condition, whether they're from the VA, they have post traumatic stress disorder. But it exists. So through that, I created this nonprofit called Marching for Humanities that's been on for since 2014. But going back to my brother, so after these caseworkers spoke with him, and I think one good thing, it was the caseworker happened to be Haitian, just like he was. So I think there was some trust there. So and then he had agreed to come and move to Florida. So he moved to Florida first time, and then didn't stay long, and went back to New York. And then in 2007, he moved back to Florida. At that time, I was right in the cusp of relocating to Georgia and relocate to Georgia. And he relocated to Georgia with me. And it was like a struggle, because for many years he was in remission. He followed treatments, both medication management, because we have to understand certain mental health condition, is there's a neurochemistry imbalances. So it is the reality of things, and I think some people, they're at risk for neurochemical imbalances. When you have trauma, you have certain types of life obstacles and all, and when there's the support are not there because of lack of knowledge, then you have people who just end up going the other way. So just like they said, there's a thin line between sanity and insanity. It is so true, because if you have people who are high risk, because if you look at a family tree and you see a lot of many who probably experience some mental health imbalances, I would say to that family, or even one or two people, make sure you have a good parachute. Make sure there's great support system for each and every member in that family set, because like I said, not everybody have the same capacity to be able to deal with life challenges. And in the case of my brother, he had he needed the parachute to help him. And sometimes when you experience with certain things, like if to those who have high risk, it's good that you stay away from drugs as well, because drugs gonna change your neurochemistry as well. So particularly with marijuana and stuff like that because it's a hallucinogenic. So imagine that you already have risk factors, and then you have stressors and all. And some people, they're saying that, oh, I use it just to relax me, and not understanding that it's a hallucinogenic, and you have this and those things. They change your neurochemistry, and here you are already a high risk, and you just there. And as I said, if you don't have great insight, so when you don't have great insight, guess what? You will continue to go down that rabbit hole. And that rabbit hole's gonna kind of take you to places where you may end up having to use drugs to numb those symptoms of either manic or depression, or when, if in the case of schizophrenia, when you start losing reality touch, because it's a huge factor with schizophrenia. You have you cannot relate to what's real because you end up experiencing what we call either auditory hallucination. You're hearing stuff that are not there, or visual hallucination. You're seeing things that are not there, or you may have other type of hallucination. So your reality, your reference in terms of what's real, it's very, very impactful. So in that case, for him, once he came to live with me, and he would relapse because of poor insight. So he would not continue treatment. So he would relapse. And as he relapsed, he keeps on relapsing. He keeps on relapsing. And I keep on becoming the advocate to make sure that he gets a treatment. But there is a issue with the mental health system. We have improved a little bit. We have improved since COVID, because many became very affected when COVID happens. A lot of people, the rate of mental health become very high during the pandemic. So the needs became greater. So then that's why, since they were doing medical treatment virtually, so you see a huge increase in virtual treatment for in the space of mental health. So I am glad for that, because so it creates more accessibility of mental health care. So things that for me, I would say for anyone who has family member who are experiencing some sort of mental health, first is to make sure that they get the help. So you can always call the hotline number where they can do like home visit to come and assess your loved one. If the person have enough insights and all, they can even call those numbers themselves, because you will find out with the next visit interview that we have, it's someone who actually experienced mental health. This is a phenomenal person. I got to meet him through my brother in finding arrangement, a space for him. I got to meet this phenomenal person who himself experienced mental health, but through a peer program that he himself created. Imagine that, someone who has mental health condition. And so I'm not gonna spoil it for next time around, which is gonna be May 2025. That's when he's gonna come, where I'm gonna interview. I'll give you his name. His name is Angelo Benjamin. So Mr. Benjamin has been somebody I looked up to for those who suffer mental health. With his own experience of mental health, he's able to create a support system, living arrangement for those who experience mental health. So through that, and he would relapse. He would relapse I would say from 2007 to to probably a good on 2014. He did fine. He was in remission because you can be in remission while you suffer experience mental health. If you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, you have insight to if you're having stressor and stuff like that. So you really have to know yourself when you. It's just like just any other medical condition. So if you have high blood pressure, guess what? Diabetes, cancer, and all, you have to get treatment. And so as well with mental health conditions. So you don't just ignore it. You don't just like if someone have diabetes, they have poor insight, they're not accepting of the diagnosis, so their prognosis is equally as poor. So equally the same with mental health. You can live a quality life with a diagnosis of mental health if you first have greater insight of your condition. If you have great insight of your condition, because I've done research and all, there was this professor of law. So while she was in just a side note, while she was in law school, that's when she first had her first crisis of mental health. And so she ended up having treatment, build up insights and all, and understand now when she's even in almost crisis mode. So she's able to reach out to her psychiatrist and say, "Can you do med adjustment?" That's when somebody have gotten to understand themselves. So not only that, and she's a professor. She's a professor of law. So if she had allowed, and I think she had a diagnosis of schizophrenia, and schizophrenia is one of those diagnoses that is very difficult to manage if the person doesn't have insight. So she understand that, hey, something is not right. I'm looking like I may be in crisis, and it's just understanding people's. They have to understand their triggers. What can trigger them to put them in crisis mode? So they have to have great support system. So when I do Facebook Live, I always said to people, we are a spiritual being, and we are also have the mental state. So there's three part of us. So we have our body that we have to treat well and do things for. We also have the spirit, so we have to feed that as well. But we also have the mental part, and if we don't balance all three, trust me, it's a thin line. If we don't balance all three, you can easily become anxious. If you go through certain life milestone, like if you're pregnant and then you have hormonal imbalances and you have the propensity to have depression, you can develop postpartum depression. And if it gets very, very aggravated, particularly for those who already have a baseline mental health condition like bipolar or schizophrenia, they can go into postpartum psychosis. And the postpartum psychosis sometimes is the precursor for to have declared the mental illness that was probably there. But because they had great support system, it never declared itself. But once they have this life changes, they have reached this milestone, pregnancy, having a child, and particularly if there's not great support for this person, it can easily escalate to that. So I'm not saying people who experience postpartum depression is because they don't have any support system. All I'm saying, it can aggravate and escalate it to that. So it's very important. Any human being should have some degree of support in life. So for my going back to my brother, So my uncle, I was talking to him because I'm always getting gleaning information, doing like family tree information before he passed early this year in January. So we were talking, and I said, okay, I don't know anything about my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, and all. If you can tell me how many children she had, and all this. And then for whatever reason, we were talking about death. And so because my father had passed away early, he was perhaps 33 years old, and then knowing that what's going on with my brother, and my uncle is not one who likes to talk a whole lot, but I felt that that was very different conversation. And he said to me, we were on the phone, and he said to me, only if I knew the impact that the trauma of my brother passing had on your brother. And he said, only if I knew that, then we probably would get him some help. And that's someone at 86 years old telling me that. And my father has been gone at this point 50 years, or almost 50 years. So then that's when he said that to me. He said, only if I knew the impact that had on your brother. So, and he said, well, we didn't know to even consider having anybody have therapy. So it's not a culture of therapy. We're not a culture where we said we need to go on and talk to someone and all. We probably do it for situations that are very, very extreme. But when it comes to like loss, divorce, and all these things that disrupt the normal family dynamics, that's not something that we do. And to tap it off, we don't even understood that how much of a impact, negative impact, that perhaps it have on children in Haiti. So I'm not sure if that was the catalyst for my brother experiencing mental health. It could be part of it, but not the only part. So I thought probably he was just reflecting when my uncle told me what he told me. But I'm glad he at 86 he had a different perspective to understand that. And if any family member would have had this, I could sincerely felt that he probably would have told the family member, maybe you should consider therapy for that child, because the child is affected, and which is true. So it's just to say that mental health, it's real. So I just list all these stats early on the show, but it's things that needs to be addressed, and it's a lot of stuff when people don't deal with life situation, and they have major aggression situation. If you look at the most things that happen, it's whether if it's fatal homicide and all of them, a lot of time it stems from either people are not able to cope, people have some underlying concerns, and they don't know how to deal with either rejection. So if you take the most recent case in our own community with this young man who ended up unaliving this young lady. So to me, it's a sense of like someone who's not able to cope with rejection. So if somebody cheats on you or whatever, it does not say that you are devalued. So it just said this person probably has interest somewhere else, or for whatever reason. So it does not give reason to unalive someone. So it tells me that this person have not reached the level where they can gain mastery of their emotion. So they have to go into extreme measure to take somebody else's life. So there's a lot of things that we are talking about, and that's globally. Mental health is a condition that is there and has been there. You know, if you look at history, human history, mental health has always been there. I mean, they have given different kind of names for women. They call it hysteria when women were having issue with mental health changes with their menopause and all because of hormonal changes, because your state of mind can change for different reasons. Hormone can cause that, changes can cause that, stress can cause that, you know, drugs can cause that, and some familiarity to certain gene can cause that. So it's just to be able to bring awareness of what it is with mental health and and stuff like this. And so that way we can create a better safety net. We can create ways that we can help and support those who are experiencing mental health. For my brother, he used to live with me, and maybe 3 years ago we have agreed to come up with a different home arrangement. So he's doing great there. So he's getting both medical treatment and as well as therapy. So for a lot of people, you need both. You need the medical treatment and therapy because there's once you have neurochemistry imbalances, that therapy with medication is necessary. So I am gonna end this here, and because my the next segment is gonna be a guest who has been instrumental with the care of my brother, but he's gonna bring his own story, which is a very phenomenal story to see someone who has gone through so much and have experienced mental health in his lifetime, but has turned it around to become the advocate of for those with mental health. For me, I ended up having to create a system for my brother where I advocate for his care. So if there's any question, I'm the one they call first. So, and that is very important, particularly for those who have very poor insight, because you know they have poor insight. You don't want them to be the one to make certain decision because they know that their mental health is not great. So why would we want someone who's not medicated, who's not in remission, to make certain this significant decision for their life, where if you get involved, you have the proper paper and proper arrangement. So you get to be the one they call first and says, hey, particularly if you're in the health field, it says, hey, who would you like done for your brother? So that's me, or your loved one. And what would you want to be done? Because when there's no paper, they depend on the person who's definitely not able to make decision for themselves at time, who may be still having active hallucination to make that decision, which I felt that it's not the best decision for your loved one at time. So be active, particularly if you have family member who experience mental health. Be active in their care and show up and make sure that they have an advocate to so they can get the best mental health care. At this point, I can say my brother has the best mental health care because I have to literally get very involved where I advocate for him. And so they would not do anything without first calling me to give the green light. So you take care. And this podcast is a podcast where people are here to share their truth, their story of triumph. And we all go through challenges in life. Everybody. We may not have the same challenges, but one thing that I know, our human potential is very powerful. Our human potential is very powerful. With that, I leave and close the Bella Shasha podcast until May 2025. And our next guest will be Angelo Benjamin. So Mr. Benjamin will grace us next time to speak his truth and triumphing stories. Bye bye.
Welcome to the Bella Shasha podcast, where we dive deep into the heart of human experience. I am your host, Manushka Lamini. On Sunday afternoon, we share intimate, life-changing stories that inspire, connect, and transform. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and join us on this adventure of vulnerability and strength.